Hey guys, and welcome back to a much needed episode of Give Me That Mic. I'm Katie. Or that's how you know
Today you want to be me.
I really want to be you.
I'll be you
I want to
today.
be
It's
anyone in
okay.
the world but me at this moment.
No.
Anyways, no. I'm dramatic.
Okay, well, I'm Katie, actually.
She's Katie.
That's Olivia.
I'm Olivia. You may have heard of me. Hot in the press right now. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. It's going to be very, very informative, and we're going to talk a lot about the challenge. I want this podcast to be something that is, about conversations and kind of just getting to know me and Katie in real life, as well as reality TV, online presence, just the crazy things that we get into. But one big part of my life, especially right now, is the challenge. The challenge just aired like yesterday, so everyone has known now what went down in the episode, and I want to just unpack it today and kind of talk about everything thoroughly, because obviously it's a TV show and the editing plays a huge part, and I don't want to be here and blame editing, but I do want to unpack things that were not talked about and not said and not shown, and that may not make sense to the viewers that don't know me personally and don't know the situation. So let's get into it, shall we?
I'm excited to do this episode because now I feel like we can talk about your whole season and kind of get that over with, so you can like kind of move on and make this podcast whatever you want it to be. But first, we'll unpack the whole season.
Right.
Last night's episode to start.
Last night's episode. Well, where do we start? I think a lot of people, put me in this category of being like the rookie of the year and she can do no wrong. And they held me to this standard, which no one can,
uphold. It's impossible to make everybody happy. And also with getting so much love, there's always going to be people that are upset that you get that much love, just waiting for your downfall. Yeah. Like a lot of fans that were just waiting for you to do something wrong, like in your comment section, people just being like, was waiting for her to do something. So like, I knew there was something off about her. And I'm like, what was off about her? Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. I really care about the people that it affected in my real life. Yeah. Comments are comments. It's literally just words, and I can delete my Instagram tomorrow and none of it exists to me. But I do want to explain myself, I guess. I want to take full accountability. If you have not seen the episode, go check it out, but I'll give a little bit of a recap. Basically, during the episode, there was a point in the game where I did not choose Nerys to save, and I chose Mariah, which then in turn sent Nerys into elimination, which she killed, and she ended up winning and coming back into the house. Obviously, people are not happy and they're triggered by this. They think that I am a bad friend. They think that, I think they just think a lot of things, right?
So the episode opens with you sobbing because Nerys because Horacio had to go in instead of Nerys. And so I think people are like, how are you sobbing at the beginning?
No, Horacio had to go into elimination instead. Nerys saved me instead.
Right. Yeah.
So it definitely,
so people
that
are
also
confused.
just shows like, no, the editing of this episode particularly is everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere. It has me being so sad about Horacio, and then it has me being like, Nerys, it's me and you against the world, and then it has me being like, Michelle, Mariah, Jay, how are you guys sending me in? Like, this is insane. And it just has so many different emotions in it, and so many like things that if you really break it down make no sense. And in my opinion,
it's also wild that like you kind of went from like not even being a part of the season and like the first 4 episodes, like, where is Olivia? But on the billboards you're like one of the top faces, so like when the season opened we expected to see you from the rip, but it was like you didn't do anything that was so crazy amazing or bad until it was almost like they were looking for something, a way to edit you poorly.
I don't know if they were. No, I will take accountability for doing the action that made it happen poorly. But I do want to just kind of take it all back and explain why I made the decision that I made, and give some context behind it. And this is in no way me defending myself and trying to say that I'm right, but I do think it's fair for me to be able to explain why I did what I did and give another side to the story that is my narrative, because you know, that's only fair for me. Because even though I may be getting a little bit of hate right now and people are saying certain things, I do know myself. And although that was not my finest moment, I do deserve to like have some grace, and I do deserve forgiveness, and I do, you know, deserve, I guess, an explanation. So basically, I came in this season, as we start out, you know, me and Rossio had a lot of conflicts because I did not know he was going to be on the season. And that already rubbed me the wrong way, because me and Rossio, if we really want to break it down, me and Rossio were ride or dies. But me and Rossio were never best friends. We were not even really friends, right? Until we went on the season Ride or Dies.
Right.
Which I never really spoke about much, and neither did he, because the show wanted us as Ride or Dies to be like brother and sister, Ride or Dies, or like in a relationship or something. They wanted more to our friendship. And we also started out as alternates on the show. So we weren't even really supposed to be on the show.
So how did you and Horacio meet in the first place? Like, how did that get
Because our
brought
management,
together?
Literally our management knew that I was contacted for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I have this guy that could be your partner.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then me and Rossio met, and we like have been like friendly since then.
Yeah, you guys vibed, and then
we vibed, yes. But then we went on the show, and if I'm just being 100% real, me and him never clicked like a ride or die, if that makes sense. I'm not discrediting our friendship. We definitely grew a friendship, but it's not best friends like everyone's talking about. And you know this, obviously, but
like if it could have been like boy or girl, or like anybody that you could have like truly picked that wasn't on TV, then he wouldn't have been your first choice.
Well, I wouldn't have known him.
Right.
To be my choice.
Yeah. So.
I'm so grateful he was, and I love him.
Yeah.
To this day. And I think he's a great person. But for the narrative to be that me and him are best friends, and that, you know,
that's what they were pushing you guys to do or say. Okay.
Yeah. And that's hard for me too, because I felt like even on Ride or Dies, we were not close, and I kind of did play that game by myself. And I was like, damn. And that's why it was nice to even have Nelson that season, because I had someone to like hang out with every day and bounce my problems off of, and not really have to go run to everyone to talk about like how lonely I felt. Because I still talked about how lonely I felt on Ride or Dies. They just don't air it, you know?
On this past season that just aired, you talked about Ride or Dies feeling lonely?
No, on Ride or Dies, I did feel lonely, but they never edited that in the show to show.
Oh, because they wanted you guys to seem seamless and like no problems.
1,000,000%. They wanted us to be seamless.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I'm not trying to discredit our friendship, but like it is what it is, and he could say the same thing. We didn't even know each other. We were not best friends, you know? We gained a friendship from it for sure, right. But I would say that going into this next season, I thought we built more of a friendship, but we didn't really talk outside the show. And so I texted him like a week before, and I was like, are you going on to Battle for the New Champ? We didn't know the title at the time, but he's like, no, I'm not. And remember, he even texted you and said, what?
He just said that he was going to be around over the summer. So yeah. So
I was like, okay, he's not coming. Shows up at the airport, which I mean, I was like fine with. Like I'm happy. I'm like, okay, cool. Rossio was here.
Yeah.
But it did kind of make me get insecure. Like, damn,
did you talk to him about that before? Like, did you ever figure out if he knew the whole time he was going, or did
no, he didn't.
He didn't,
but he knew enough to. He knew like a week and a half before you could text me. You know. And so that kind of already started off the relationship with me and Rossio in the house a little bit rocky on my end. I felt uncomfortable with it because I was like, damn, like after everything we went through last season, after everything that I invested in this friendship, I felt like energy wise, because he's very quiet, which is fine, but I'm not. We're different. So I felt like I put so much energy into it, and I felt like I was like, damn, like after the show, we didn't really stay in contact at all. I don't know. I just felt kind of like alone in that. And so going on this season, finding out he didn't tell me, I was like, well, if we really
do you think that he didn't tell you because he was trying to like excited, like surprise you guys? Or I
honestly don't think it was out of any mal intent. I think that he just is Horacio and just like whatever, which I understand, but I only can understand someone's way of moving for so long until it's like, okay, when am I going to get some reciprocation and someone meet me halfway? You know? So prior to Horacio coming on the show, me knowing, me and Jay became really good friends on Ride or Dies, and they don't show that.
Yeah.
Me and Michelle became
I don't remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it never was shown.
Yeah.
Me and Michelle became really good friends on Ride or Dies. And me and Michelle kept our friendship going for Ride or Dies pretty strongly, where I think me and Michelle have hung out every single month before this new season, and we got so close. I met all her friends, her family. Like, I know her stories, she knows my family, we know our stories. Like, we have a different bond and connection, and that I could say is my real life best friend. I don't think people understood that going into the game, right? So going into the game, Horacio surprised me with coming. I'm like, okay, whoa, because in my head at this point, I'm like, well, Jay's my number one. I know I'm not his, right? And I know I'm gonna have to make new connections, but that was just my first start going on to the season. I was like,
why were you okay with being Jay's number two and him being?
Because I didn't have anyone else at the time that I had a bond with enough to pick as a number one. I was okay with playing the game for a week and figuring out if I could put my eggs in someone else's basket for being my number one, if that makes sense.
Oh, so before knowing Horacio was coming, you were
like,
okay.
Yes, before I knew Horacio was coming. Gotcha. And then Horacio comes, I'm like, okay, well, he's obviously my number one guy. Jay will be my number two. Which is perfect, because Jay told me numerous times I was his number two. Numerous times.
Right.
Like,
implanted in your head.
Numerous times. So that's annoying, because I'm just like, wow, like, whatever. Anyways, so Horacio comes in the game. He does what Horacio does. He sticks to himself. He stays to himself. And you know, that's fine. But I'm starting to hear people chatter in the house and chirp about Horacio. Like, Jay at one point was like, Horacio's coming for me. I was like, he's not coming for you. And there's a scene where I'm like, I don't want to see Horacio in a final. That was a conversation that me and Jay were having as friends, because the show does not show how close me and Jay were. I was closer to Jay as a friend than I was Horacio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Me and Jay have conversations. We've talked outside the show. I, like, you know, may or may not have had a little crush on him at one point in my life. So it's like I had a bond with him, and they don't show that. So it kind of does look out of pocket, me talking to Jay about this. But it wasn't me saying, let's throw Horacio in, like,
targeting him.
No, it was us having a conversation that they pulled that clip of, I think it was like talking about the final or whatever. And he's like, well, is Horacio coming for me? And I was like, no, Horacio's not coming for you. I said it a million times. Horacio's not coming for you. And then he's like, well, do you want to see him in the final? And I think it was like just a normal friend conversation of like, well, no one does.
Right.
But that was a logical thing to say. It wasn't
because
like,
you didn't think that you'd win against him?
Yeah. And I said, Jay, I wouldn't want to see you in a final either.
Right.
But they obviously don't show that.
Yeah.
And it was a conversation as friends. Whatever. So we're moving past that part.
Okay. Me
and Reese in the house, before going on this season, I'm not trying to discredit our friendship at all, but I have to, it's only fair for me to explain what was going on in my brain, right? Yeah. Me and Michelle were so close. I knew Michelle was coming on the season. I obviously didn't want to say anything because she didn't want me to say anything, because she wasn't sure if she was coming. She was like iffy. So she kind of was like last minute decided. And that was her choice to tell whenever she wanted to tell people. So I don't think anyone understood me and Michelle's friendship and how close we were. You know how close me and Michelle were.
Yeah.
Me and Reese, we have obviously been close, but I feel like our friendship was a little bit strange going into the show too, because there was something that happened before the show, and we did have a talk about it. And it was someone saying something yet again, always on my name, like something about, oh God, what was it? It was something that was like minute, but like it was enough to like be like,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't anything, but it was something that I was like, whoa. And I did feel like there was some distance there, but I also know, like, now being out of it and not so paranoid, people have their lives going on.
Yeah.
Me and Reese did talk every day. I'm not going to discredit that. Not every day, but we talked a lot. A lot of it was about the show, in my opinion, and a lot of it was about, and you've heard all our FaceTimes. A lot of it was about the show, but I mean, we did have a friendship.
Yeah, and there's totally different levels to friendships, you know?
Yeah, and I will say I think she was one of my best friends, but I think there's different best friends and
TV best friends and like
I don't even
day-to-day
think
best
I would say
like
TV best friends. Yeah.
Well, there's just different
yes.
Different areas of your life that you can be best friends with people.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. Anyway, so continuing on this, I was very close with Jay and Michelle, very close with Nerys and Horacio. Out of nowhere, Horacio and Jay started getting into this thing where they started being on opposite sides, which is crazy to me because they were so close. Horacio was Jay's number two, but Horacio doesn't talk to anyone, which it's a boss move. Throw yourself into elimination, win, come back every time, like you're killing it.
Yeah.
But longevity wise, in my eyes, it didn't make sense on how you're not forming connections in the house, because it's also doing me a disservice, because now you guys are splitting and I feel like I'm the daughter that has divorced parents. and I'm getting pulled on both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, what the hell am I going to do? Because Michelle had Jay. That was her number one. Nerys had Horacio. And I told Horacio too, by the way, when Nerys and Horacio started getting closer, I said, Horacio, you can put Nerys as your number one.
Okay.
So I felt like I was literally on an island at this point in the middle. I was like, okay, so to my left, Nerys and Horacio. To my right, Jay and Michelle. I don't really have anyone having my back fully at the end of the day. I knew I had them not maybe saying my name, but who was going to fight for me and go to bat for me? Obviously, if Horacio and Kylan and Nerys won, they wouldn't throw me in, you know, and vice versa. I wouldn't have thrown them in either. Because there was other people I could stare at. I still wouldn't have thrown Jay in because we were still working together, just like Nerys talks about. She was working with Jay and Horacio, and she can do both. I was doing both to the best I could. The first decision I had to make without putting myself in the middle was the decision when I chose to say Emmanuel's name. And the only reason I did that was because Nerys was like, Liv, I think Emmanuel, if he wins, is going to come for me because I've said his name before. And I was like, well, I don't want that. I don't want him to come for you. And yeah, he did say he has my back, but I'd rather lose him as someone that has my back and like have your back.
Yeah.
So I did that. And there was also many times in the house where I would always defend both parties as much as I could. And I felt like I was getting overlooked so much in like my feelings, and I was in my feels this season. Like a lot of it was. Like, you know, I'm not a crier.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot that was happening before you went on.
There was a lot, yeah.
Before.
Yeah. I was going through a lot of stuff just in my personal life, and this isn't even to like, I want to say so many times this is not to make excuses because I still stand by what I did was a mistake. But there was so much going on in my life, and
I mean, you're only a human.
Right.
Like,
so let me just finish this whole thing up so we can kind of dissect it. Mm-hmm. So we got to the point where, you know, Horacio almost won that challenge. Jay ended up winning, and Jay told all of us, okay, I'm done playing the game. So you girls can do whatever you want now. We're like, yes, awesome. So we can save Horacio, Kylan, Nerys, Michelle, and me. Perfect. And then slowly, I think Jay was getting people in his ear that were like, wait, if you do this, like just giving different scenarios. And then Jay started getting like, shit, I can't save the girls. And I can't save Horacio and Kylan. I can't save the girls. And then he started backtracking. But he told us that, okay, look, I want you two girls safe, but I'm just letting you know your boys are going in no matter what. So it was from that, after that challenge until the elimination, it was 100% guarantee that Horacio and Kylan were going into elimination. And that's what they are not showing either, that conversation. Even Horacio and Kylan in the kitchen say, we just need the girls safe at all cost. That's what the consensus was for the whole house. It was almost like a respect thing of like, everyone knows like Kylan and Horacio are going in. This was vocalized in the house. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, this is honestly like so awesome that you guys are trying to save the girls, But of course people are still scrambling because they're like, who's the extra one that's going to go in? So in my head, saving Horacio and Kylan was seriously off the table for me because I couldn't even think about it because I was like, okay, focus on saving me and Nerys. Focus on saving me and Nerys. At this point, I'm like, there's no way they're going to save me and Nerys at the beginning of this lineup because they're going to think that we're going to screw them over and save Horacio and Kylan. Right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, how can we make this work? We were at the club and Nerys was with me. Mariah was with me. Kylan was with me and Horacio was with me at least at one point in this night. And we went over the list. We were like, well, they said that we could save, because at first Jay said we could save one of the guys. So I was like, okay, how can we make this work where Nerys can get saved second to last and save Horacio? Right? Mm-hmm. But then that went straight off the table and it was a no, that's not happening. And we're like, okay. So we're like, okay, so what can the next option be? We all sat at the club, Nerys included, everyone. And we said, okay, this is the option we could do. We could do Michelle, or we could do Jay saves Michelle, who saves me, who saves Mariah, who saves James, who saves Nerys. But they still didn't like that because they're like, what if Nerys switches up and picks the guys? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then basically the guys were off the table. That's why I'm like, I want to like harp on so much. The guys were off the table to save.
So who was supposed to be the third person?
Either it was supposed to be Colleen, I guess. I didn't know. I actually didn't really care who the person was. I just knew I was like, okay, this is how I'm safe. This is how Nerys is safe.
Right.
So when we get, so we come up with a plan. So we come up with a plan where we're all safe. And I'm like, cool. And I think Nerys was the last person picked. And I think Corey was going to pick Nerys. Okay. So something like, I think how was it gonna go? Oh, I wish I like wrote this down so I could remember, but it was Jay, Michelle, me, Mariah, James, Corey, Nuri. No, it was gonna work somehow. And we were all like, okay, perfect, this works. The next morning, after we're at the club, Michelle comes up to me and she's crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, she has no words to say to me. I'm like, what? She's like, and I was like, am I going in? And she's like, and I'm like, are you serious? Because me and Michelle are best friends. I was with Michelle every single day on this TV show.
That seems like a huge switch up. Why did they leave that out, you think?
It doesn't, because TV does have to have a storyline to make something make sense. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think that they want me to be the villain, because at this point in the game, who do they have to look at other than Jay? The game is, no one's really doing anything in this house.
Yeah.
Like, they need characters. They do, you know?
Yeah, what a plot twist for you to go from like the most
oh my god, it's like
hated.
The biggest plot twist of all time.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, who would not save their best friend?
It's so fucked. Like,
I know. And so I want to continue, because I'm still saying that I'm wrong in my what I did, but I had so much pressure. And so Michelle came to me. I was like, you're going in. And that's the clip where they flash back and they say, Nerese wanted to go home the night before, because Nerese did want to go home the night before. She was crying. She was like literally packing her stuff. And I was like, no, Nerese, what are you doing? Like, because I thought we were safe too at this point, right? So I'm like, you are like, you're safe. But she obviously was mad the guys are going in. I wasn't happy about it either, but like, it is a game. And also, like, in my eyes, what are we going to do at that point?
So
what are we
going
going to do at that point?
Conversation with her in the room, what was the consensus? Like, were you able?
She got
did
back
you feel
positive.
Like you were able? Okay.
Yeah, I think we pulled her out of it, and she got back positive, which was good.
But you were still unsure the next day, like if she really wanted to be there.
Yeah, cause, yeah, but that's not why I did what I did. So we had that conversation where it flashes back to like Michelle and Mariah and me saying like, wow, you guys are really not going to pick me, because I literally had both your backs. Even though me and Mariah had some rough parts on that season, I still had her back as much as I could. I didn't win anything enough to like really have a say, but like she's Michelle's number one girl, because Nerese was mine, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you not do what Michelle wants if it's benefiting Michelle, and Michelle would make me never say your name too? It almost benefits you, if that makes sense. And so she's like, okay, well then I'll save you, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. 10 seconds after that conversation, we were pulled down to deliberation. Mm-hmm. There was no thinking about it. There was nothing, because I thought we were safe the night before. Woke up to literally like Michelle crying to me being like, are you fucking serious? Like, I was not like, there's so many other ways we could have planned this to make it work, and this is what you're doing. Or
so once you got saved, you thought, okay, it's back on track to what it was supposed to be the night before.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So who was trying to put you in the first place? Put you down there in the first place?
Everyone. It was just not put me down there, but no one had my back. Okay. And I was and except for Michelle. Michelle had my back.
Michelle's the one that came to you and told you that.
Yes. So, and also the night before too, like I told Nerese all this stuff, and I believe she was like, I don't want to do this, I'm not politicking or whatever. And I'm like, well then I'm going to. I don't want to go in against the guys. Like, we still didn't know what the eliminations looked like. They came back looking like they were from straight war. I was like, I'm not gonna win a relay race against these guys. You know what I mean?
You don't give yourself enough credit, but
I do think I definitely came into the season very insecure and very unsure of how people saw me. I heard a lot of people talk shit about me too. I just don't really talk about people talking shit about me, but everyone else wants to talk about everyone talking about them. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. But I hear things too people say, and they are hurtful, whether I say who said it or not. I don't really care, because it's between me and that person. That's how I feel. And so basically, I'm going to kind of make this a little bit quick, because I do want to get into like more of it. I just want to get the story out there. But so in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm safe here. I'm going to save Mariah, who saves James, who saves everyone. And then Colleen and Nerese, if you remember from a couple episodes ago, Nerese didn't say Colleen's name. She said Berna's name instead. Mm-hmm. So they had like this agreement. And I remember Nerese would always say positive things about Colleen and like be like, yeah, like we kind of have this like understanding. That's what I understood. I don't think she said those words. We have an understanding, but it was like, that's what I gathered by the way Nerese talked about Colleen. And also it was said that we do want to have an all girls final. So I was like banking that the last pick, Colleen, would save Nerys. And they cut this out too. I look over, I'm like, Colleen, save Nerys, right? Like, save Nerys. And she literally looks at us, and everyone is looking down the line, and they're like, dude, save Nerys. And like, it sucks for Corey. I love Corey so much, but like,
just wasn't supposed to go like that.
It just wasn't supposed to go like that. And so, and as soon as she picks Corey, I'm like, holy shit. Wow. This is not what my master plan was, right? I thought I was trying to outsmart the system, I think. And so what they really cut out is after that happened, and Nerys said what she said. Or no, I think I said this before. Or no, Nerys said what she said. She said like something, I should trust my brother or something. I literally was like so in shock. I didn't really say anything. That's why I kind of looked like dead in the face. And like, I said, I'm sorry. I said, Nerys was like screaming at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, Nerys. And it looks like I'm like, kind of like, I'm sorry, Nerys. But like, it wasn't like that. It was like, what the fuck is it happening right now? And then I literally, out of nowhere, kind of understood what was happening. And I was like, TJ, please let me switch places with Nerys. TJ, please let me switch. Please, I beg you. Like, let me go into elimination. Let Nerys take my spot. And they cut that entire clip out, which is so much context of a mistake that I made and knew immediately I made.
Yeah, exactly. Immediate remorse.
Mm-hmm. And now, watching the episode back,
it looks like you did it out of like cold blood, didn't care. You know?
No. Yeah. I literally said I want to switch my place with Nerys and go into elimination because this is not how it was supposed to go. So in my mind, I made the biggest mistake not choosing her. But then if I chose her, I would have fucked over Michelle, who's my sister, you know? And she was doing me a favor. God forbid I say it like that, because she wasn't. She wanted me to stay, and she knew that she couldn't, like, she wanted me in the house because we were each other's safe space. Horacio and Nerys were always together, which is fine, but like, I didn't really hang out with either of them all season. I had moments here and there, but Michelle and me were attached at the hip, you know? And like I said, like, we have hung out more than me and Nerys ever have. And I went to Michelle's house. Like, we do things in the real life, I guess, if that makes sense. And I never even been to Nerys' house. Nerys never been to mine. Not discrediting that friendship again. It's just different. And so I had 3 options, basically. I either screw Michelle over. I just don't say anything. I just take it on the chin, go into elimination, knowing that I probably will go home. Or I bet and put all my eggs in Colleen's basket to save Nerys. And each one of those is kind of a lose for me, right? So looking back on it now, I would have taken it on the chin all day and just not have done anything, because then, you know, that's who I really am. Me thinking I was smart enough to save me and Nerys, and like thinking it was going to work out perfectly in my favor, was naive and stupid of me. And I am sorry for that. I have talked to Nerys. We have like had conversations. There is more that needs to be obviously discussed and said. She's obviously watching the episode, reliving everything right now. So I know that it's like hot. But she did say she believes that I'm sorry and, you know, stuff like that. But like I said, rewatching it, she's obviously feeling everything over again. I do think that the way that the show is edited too makes me a little bit upset, because they're showing Horacio crying in confessional saying like, I can't believe Olivia betrayed us. But like, Horacio and Kyla knew they were going into elimination. So to say that like you thought I betrayed you guys, you knew that the order was gonna, you knew the order was gonna be like that, if that makes sense, because we talked about it the night before at the club. It maybe was a little bit of a different order, but you guys knew that like we didn't have, you guys came to a consensus that we don't have to save you, because as long as we're both safe.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying any of this is right. I'm not saying any of it's great master plan, but this is the reality that was happening. So, yeah, I mean, the part where they, like I said, cut out the TJ part is just shows that they want me to be cold-blooded, like,
I can't understand
backstabbing friend. And that was never my intention. Like I said, I regretted it immediately sitting on that couch, and I said, please let me switch with her. TJ walks away, talks to production. He comes back and said, sorry, things are locked in. And I was like,
wow.
And I think that's when I was like, I'm sorry, Nerys. Like, I don't I was so ashamed of myself in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
So do you think that's everything I covered much
I think
so far?
For the most part.
Okay, because now I want to dissect
then have
into
you like
more
reconciled with?
What's up?
Who have you reconciled with since?
Horacio's called me. We have. So this is the thing. I reconciled with everyone.
Like immediately
but when
after?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because this is, in my opinion, in my world, Horacio and Kylan knew they were going into elimination. So I never screwed them over, you know?
So they were never mad at you, truly. They were upset.
They were, I think, upset.
Their number one was.
They were more like,
situation.
damn, you screwed Nerys over.
Yeah.
But, which in turn it did. But that was never my intention to save myself and kind of not care about them. Mm-hmm. It was a plan that we talked about at the club. And the order could have been any order or whatever, but it was going to be me and Nerys safe. And I was just banking on that Colleen would save Nerys, which, like I said, I should never have put Nerys' fate in anyone's hands. So when she picked Corey, I literally said, TJ, please let me switch. I literally begged him. So that's why you see me like being like, I'm so sorry, Nerys. And I was sitting on the couch with her and I'm like, I'm just like so at a loss. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Nerys. Like, I thought the girls, like, they were going to save you. Like, I literally was like, I'm so shocked on what they did. Like, and it's not their fault either necessarily because that's their own story. Mm-hmm. They never promised anything, but like, that's my fault, you know, fully. So it is crazy what they cut out. And I think that would have kind of shed a little bit more light on my mindset of what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I'm taking full accountability for her feeling hurt, but yeah, full accountability for her being hurt. I do think that there is a weird place to be when it's my fault and I'm getting so much like hate now and so misunderstood. I don't want to make it about me because it's not, but at the same time, I have to defend myself and my soul and my heart. Yeah. And the people that still have my back out there and my friends and my family, they know me. They want me to stand up for myself, you know, because they're like, dude, we know you live like it looks bad for sure. And it is.
Yeah. But the people that truly know you, it's like, and if you have like really any critical thinking and you're watching the episode, you're like, okay, wait, why did she completely switch up out of nowhere? There has to be something we're all missing as viewers, which there was, apparently.
Right.
So much missing.
Yeah. I mean, I have I'm looking at these questions too.
Mm-hmm. So why did Nerys' brother say that to her in the first place to make her question your friendship in general at all?
Because
like, where did he even gather that?
Because someone from the cast told him this. So, I guess he just like ran with it. I don't know how someone believes something like that so easily, but I don't know.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but let's look at these questions really quick. I pick up. Did I cover everything kind of that I wanted to talk about? I don't know if I was everywhere. I'm trying to like.
No, that was like
paint a story that makes sense and is not too everywhere without feeling like I'm trying to reverse the victim role on myself because it's not the case. But
that was all chronological, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And also there's another episode next week, guys.
It doesn't stop there.
You haven't seen the full outcome of what the decision did, nor I'm hoping maybe next week they'll show some of maybe the cut parts and be like, okay, maybe this is it, but I'm not really banking on it at this point.
Has anyone seen next week's episode and gone back to or anything?
Not yet.
It's just tough because you guys are there for like 70 days and we like accumulate, like we get like as viewers, like 12 hours of footage. So it's like, come on.
I also feel like what's not shown either is that the audience thinks that Kylan, Horacio, and Nerys were my only friends in the house that would have my back.
Yeah.
I really was playing the middle, which is now I'm realizing not having a say or a stance is almost worse than picking a side. And now I fully understand that. But also I'm new to the game, y'all. Like, I'm new to the game. I am there to win also. I'm there to win. But also, I'm not there to screw over my friends for money. And also, how much money was it? $300,000. Great money. People can change their lives with that. But, like, it's not like I'm never going to work again. I'm going to be the Queen of Sheba. Like, I'm not going to screw my friends over for $300,000. It was more of the principle of, like, I got my challenge final ripped away from me last season because of a flaw or a fluke. And I felt like the only thing that could make me feel better about myself if I got another chance to prove that I'm not weak. And I think by me trying to prove I'm not weak brought out all my weakness.
Yeah.
Instead of just like owning like my strengths, which is like, I mean, I will say like,
do you feel like, did you have like weird guilt around last season going into it with like Horacio?
Yeah, of course.
But not based off anything he ever said, because he always reassured you that it was never your fault.
It was my own self-hate
other people,
spiral.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like I said, I came on this season like not mentally in the best spot, thinking that everyone, I don't know what was going on, but I felt a lot of like, no one had my back truly. No one really cared about me as a friend. Like, when the season started, like Horacio didn't talk to anyone. I was like, you're kind of screwing the game out for both of us because you're not talking to my number 2 guy / your number 2 guy or your number 1 guy, and the alliance is kind of falling apart already, and I feel like I'm getting pulled both ways. And like I said, what people don't see is that me and Jay and Michelle were very close. And I was friends with everyone in the house. So when people are like saying I screwed over Horacio, Nerys, and Kyland, they had your back and they were your real friends. But they weren't only my only friends. I was friends with everyone. Yes, they didn't choose me. I understand that. And then and having time to think about it, it's like, damn, like, wow. But I also had loyalty as like friends to other people too. And everyone knew that. That's why I was in the middle, and everyone was like, where's Olivia? Like, you know, and it shows like Olivia where is she? Flip-floppy. It's because I was.
Yeah.
I literally was stuck in the middle. I was like in a rock and a hard place, and I didn't know what to do. I wanted to make everyone happy because I realized this season I am a people pleaser, which is crazy because I didn't please anyone this last episode, but like I was doing what I thought was right in those quick seconds that we were given to think, which was no time. And yeah, I mean, I would love to honestly do a sit down with Nerys at some point, even maybe like on a podcast, just so we can really talk about how we feel. I want to have a private conversation. Obviously, it's not all about cameras and stuff, but I do think that like it would be cool if she told people too what went down, just so I'm not getting so brutally attacked. I think that it's a weird place because when I am the person that did the problem, I almost have to take it on the chin and be like, well, I'm sorry. But there's only so many times I can apologize until it's like, okay, I did what I did and I regret it.
Right.
But I have to move forward with this. And I will say, strangely, I'm in the best mental space for this I could have ever expected.
Thank God.
Because I mean, I think I have like 10,000 comments on my picture that are all just saying I'm a backstabber, that I screwed over my best friends. They knew not to trust me. I knew something was weird about this girl. Just like, guys, okay, we get it. Like, and then it almost, when people are talking this much shit, it almost devalues the shit talking, because I'm like, okay, heard it once, heard it twice, pick a new tagline. And also, how embarrassing for you. Like, messaging a hate comment on someone's picture. What if like your friend or family was scrolling through Instagram and just saw you comment like a hate comment, like that's so you snake backstabbing bitch. Like, and someone's like, wow, you took the energy to go comment on a reality star's picture. That's literally the corniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, it's really but cringe. I will say there's a lot of people still that have messaged me really positive things, and I'm so grateful for everyone out there that knows about being a human and making mistakes, and you guys are not condoning my decision, but you also are saying that, you know, just grow from this and move forward, and we know you and you're a good person. To the people that have reached out to me on the show, which is mostly vets, to be honest with you, they have all said such great things to me. So sweet, so understanding, and at the end of the day, like, this is a game. It is a game. If anyone knows me in real life, which Nerys knows me, and this is the part that makes me a little sad, is that I wish, she doesn't owe me anything at all, but I wish, because she's gotten hate in the past before so badly, she knows the hate I'm getting, and I know she has to like cope with her stuff, but I wish she would like maybe have a little bit more understanding and maybe not lead like the hate train, because it hurts me to watch, and I never did anything to hurt her as a human being. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I never did anything.
Out of, like,
I never did anything to hurt her. I made a stupid mistake because I was just playing very desperate, you know? But I feel personally like I've been targeted at my character, my past, my hookups. All this stuff is getting outed about me, and it just makes me sad because even if someone had a falling out with me as a best friend, I still would never have shared their secrets with anyone. So it really makes me sad and hurts my feelings because I never would do that. Also, still would never do that to her.
Like, I know, well, I live with you, and I also know that you don't just feel sad and like sorry about this because of all the hate you're getting now. And like,
this has been 8 months in the works of me being sad every single day, regretting my decision every single day, going to sleep, waiting for the moment that I am going to have to confront it. And I didn't want to.
I'm glad that the episode's over and aired so that you can kind of put it in your past because it's been a rough watch these past few months, like seeing you behind the scenes, like reeling about it, truly.
Yeah.
Feeling really bad about.
Like I said, I regretted it immediately, and I just think the narrative is getting a lot of it skewed. And it's really hard. It's hard because I'm human and no one wants to get hate. I'm strong enough, thank God, in this moment, like I said, to deal with it. A couple months ago, I would not be okay.
I remember when you like first got off the episode and you called me immediately and you were still in Croatia, and I was like, how was it? And you were like, really bad, like shit went really south, and you felt so bad about it immediately.
Yeah.
So literally from the moment that you left, whatever, not good vibes about the whole season at all.
And that's the thing, like when the next episode airs, and it sucks I can't talk about it. Everyone's sending me amazing messages like, you're killing it this season, or we love you, da-da-da. And those same people that said all that stuff are now saying mean stuff. And it just shows how much people can flip on you. So you really can't accept the good comments or the bad comments from anyone.
You're like, I flipped on her, you're flipping on me. I thought you loved me.
I don't know.
Like, crazy.
There are some questions. Do you want to ask some of these?
Sure.
So is there anything else I wanted to, like, for sure?
Would Katie ever do reality TV, like the challenge? I think I'm going to pass on that for a hot minute. Yeah, not Love Island either. I love you, always Team Olivia. We needed that one. Okay, let me get to the questions.
I'm not even trying to make teams, you know what I mean? Like, I just want people to be understanding, and just remember that you're understanding now of someone that has made mistakes. When you make a mistake, I pray that they have the same understanding for you, because the higher you are also, the more you're going to fall. And the way people put me on a pedestal last season, I either die a hero or I live long enough to be a villain. And that's what, is happening, I guess, right now. But
well, this one wants to know if you would stand by saving Mariah, but I feel like you already
I never wanted
that.
to save Mariah, as far as like, I never thought about Mariah. I thought about who Michelle wanted me to save. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mariah, but like, it was never about that. It was more about like, Michelle wanted me to save Mariah because Mariah was her important person, and I was Michelle's number 2. It's a hard game, you guys. Like, it's a hard game. Like, it is.
Yeah.
But to just say that me and Nerese were the only people that had a friendship on the show, and I fucked over, and I get it. She picked me the last episode too, over Horacio.
Yeah.
And even though she picked me, so that's that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to go with that. But she almost picked Horacio at one moment, and Michelle and Mariah both turned around and said, pick Olivia, and they don't show that either. So that did kind of make me sad too, because I was like, damn, you almost didn't pick me. And then I was like, maybe we aren't as close, and it made me spiral again, because like I said, I was dealing with a lot of insecurities in my friendships of like, who really has my back, who wants to have my back, and am I even good enough to be anyone's friend in here? Because why is everyone friends with me? And then as soon as I made the Manuel move, they like wouldn't look at me. It was like looking at the ground. I was just like, what's going on here? And it was just so different than what I thought my real relationships were outside the game. And that's how friendships in the game are going to be significantly different than outside the show in real life.
Yeah, than in real life.
And some of these people that are on reality TV, they only surround themselves with people on reality TV, so they might not remember that or know that. Mm-hmm. But like, I have a group of friends that are not even close to
You're like
to
very
being,
removed, I feel like.
I'm very removed from it. And so,
unless you are going to a certain city for like whatever.
Exactly. How much time do we have left?
What time is it? 2:51.
Okay. Read some questions.
So I wanted to know how we keep such a close relationship or friendship, but I think a lot of people don't, like,
know
on your
sisters?
Instagram, like if they're watching this, they know we're sisters, but a lot of people do not know that we're sisters, which is kind of funny because
I know
people either think that we're twins or like literally opposite sides of the world. But with that being said, I feel like this is the best friendship because I do check you and I feel like you're wrong and whatnot, and vice versa. So.
And I'm a bold personality, you guys. I am wrong.
Like when the
a
episode,
lot of the time.
when I watched the episode this morning, I was like, well, that looked really fucking bad. But I also know you so fucking well that didn't come out of left field. There was definitely reasons why that we're not seeing. And I feel like if people are watching the show.
Did I make sense? Because I haven't really explained it to you because I wanted to wait for the podcast so you could get like a fresh
thing. I know, and I literally haven't seen you in 2 weeks either, even though we live together.
She had the flu, you guys, and then I've been like literally traveling. Oh my God, I went to Europe for the reunion. I'm not going to say where because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. If anyone wants me to have karma, I got karma, okay? Because I got bed bugs. Olivia? The day before the reunion.
We had a whole Maui trip planned. Olivia was supposed to be on an airplane. I land in Maui with my best friend Sophie. We're at the Four Seasons. Olivia just literally no call, no shows our whole girls trip. I'm like, where the hell are you? She calls me, her eyes swollen shut. I was like, oh no.
It was so fucked up, dude. Like, literally so fucked up. And I was almost not going to go to the reunion.
I know.
Because I was like in the hotel room. I'm like, what the fuck? Everything is scaring me. All my stuff.
You got them at Challenge Mania.
I got them at Challenge Mania in Indianapolis.
Oh, Indianapolis.
Yeah, the freaking Sheraton Hotel. Do not go there. They never called me back to sort things out. Screw them. And I was like, oh my God. And I was with Devin and Kyland. And I was like, guys, I have fucking bed bugs. There's bites all over me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, your skin is scarred. And it's like,
I know.
It's
I have scars all on my back, on my wrist. You guys can see my wrist. Like,
I have such a bone to pick with MTV in general, even though they're not the ones putting on Challenge Mania. I'm like, you just keep getting beaten and battered by this goddamn TV show. Yeah, and it's pissing me off.
Listen, maybe it's my karma.
No. Karma happens to you. Yeah. Well, the golf ball, that was way before anything. So that.
But yeah, so I got bed bugs. I had to go to the reunion. I'm like, oh my God. The next morning I had to fly out. So I was like, oh my God. Okay, well, I don't want to touch any of my stuff because what if they're in my stuff? And like, what if they're on me and I feel disgusting? Like, I have bites all over my face, all over my forehead, bites on my face. I was like, you're telling me I have to go to the reunion, go confront everything that I've ever done. And by the way, we never even saw all the episodes for the reunion, which is so unfair because I never got to defend myself fully because I never knew what was actually being shown and cut out. Otherwise, I would have defended myself and my actions so much differently, right? Because now it's going to make no sense. Or they're just not going to air anything I say. They're just going to air me, like, taking it on the chin again. But go to the reunion, go to the hotel, and then literally...
You didn't get to go out with your friends after the reunion?
I didn't hang out with anyone. Everyone's like, where's... And everyone on Twitter and everyone in person is like, where's Olivia? Like, what's going on? Da-da-da. There was nothing wrong. I was friends with everyone. I got bed bugs and I didn't want to give them to anyone. So I was hiding away. And then the reunion was the next day. And I was like, dude, like, I don't think I can go. I'm having a stressed out episode because I'm stressed about I'm so stressed about the reunion. I'm scared of what they're going to show because some things they just still don't show, you know? Like hookups and whatnot, you know? And I don't know, like, certain things. So I'm like, who knows what they're going to show? And I had bed bugs and bites all over my face.
The face bites is out of control.
The face bites are out of control. And thank God, apparently with bed bugs, you sometimes don't know you have them until like, I guess 10 days later. So thank God, because after we filmed everything and I headed home, I itched my eye and my eye swole shut. And I'm like, thank God this was not during filming because I would have just offed myself at this point. I'd be like, wow, this is really what my life has come to. And so I almost didn't go to the reunion. The only reason I did go is because I thought that I wanted to show the world and tell the world that I'm sorry to Nerys in front of everyone. And she deserved that. And reconcile that. And make it as much good as best I could. And so I really was just like, I hope she forgives me because I'm really laying it all out there right now. Because I almost didn't go. I was like, I'm not going. And then they're like, they kind of weren't pushing me either. They were like, okay, if you don't want. And I'm like, no, I have to go. I have to. Bed bugs and all. Anyways, that
and then
was
you just
crazy.
didn't get to come and decompress afterwards on an island with me.
No, and then I had to skip Hawaii. It was just the worst thing ever. Anyways, let's see some more of these questions.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Do you think you're a good friend? I guess ask my friends that.
I think you're the best friend.
Like, in real life, y'all, I would give my shirt off my back for someone. Like, I am the person that does things overboard for my friends. And I'm not here to pat myself on the back and be like, I'm the best friend ever. No, I mean, no one's perfect. But you are
close to people that you're in proximity with. So, of course, like, people that you see every day, you're going to have more trust with and have, like, real connections with versus people that you talk to over the phone. Because you can be as close as you can with someone over the phone. Yeah. But if you're not with somebody in person... It is hard.
Nerys talking on the phone.
Just anyone that you're friends with that you don't live next to.
Well, and like I said, I don't want to discredit our friendship on why that move was made. That's not it. But for the narrative to be like I fucked over my best friend and didn't try to save her after I made the mistake 2 seconds after is just unfair to me. Because that's just not, it's making me feel out of character. It's making me look out of character. Right. It still is a mistake and it's still wrong, and I think people definitely have the right to give me a side eye, but I don't think it's fair for me to be edited that way when the reality was not that. And also, I actually am very disappointed in some of the castmates that are so terrified to speak up, because they were all there and they all know what happened.
Oh, really?
They all heard what happened. They all saw me stand up and say I'm switching her spots, like, and it was a whole scene.
Wow, and no one's
speaking on it.
Damn.
And that really hurts my feelings, because that shows that, wow, maybe no one did have my back. Because Nerys is so idolized right now, which she should be. She fucking killed it.
Yeah, she did kill that challenge.
But she's idolized, and I think people are scared to get backlash from people that are supporting her, you know? Which is fair.
Whatever.
How do you feel about putting a knife in your best friend's back?
Right.
Well, I
not great.
don't love that. But like I said, it was not the intention to put a knife in my best friend's back.
Well,
you know what I mean? So,
you know.
Do you regret not choosing Nerys, and why? I would say I regret everything 1,000,000%. It didn't go as I wanted it to. But I don't think I would have changed anything other than just have stayed out of it. I would have just went to elimination with the guys. Because I don't want to fuck over Michelle either. You know what I mean? It's like, just because it didn't go my way and I would have looked like a hero if I saved everyone, that's not going to discredit my friendship with Michelle. I don't care if I'm popular on TV. Yeah. I'd rather be hated on TV and be a real friend to my friends. So I would not have fucked over Michelle like that. I would have just kept my mouth shut, gone into elimination, not dealt with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then who knows, Corey would have either saved Nerys or me.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I love you. Hate that you made that decision, but you definitely don't deserve the insane hate. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
I agree.
And true.
No one should. And like I said before, like, when you hate on someone, when it's your turn, because it will happen. It will happen to everyone. Everyone will have a downfall.
If you're on TV long enough or in the public long enough, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And I just want people to know that the hate you're sending out right now is going to be your karma, because
I hope not. I hope no one gets the hate that you're getting. It's
I hope
so
no one gets the hate.
Evil. It's so evil.
It's so insane. It's insane.
But it's also like, it doesn't feel real, because I'm just like, well, it's just not who you are. So it's like, okay, you're attacking a false persona, you know?
Yeah, and it's just, like I said, it's a really hard place to be, because I don't want to discredit her feelings and discredit what actually happened, because it did. But
yeah, but this one thing doesn't make you a bad person.
To be so honest with you, if I was put in a situation where Nerys did the same thing to me and I went in, I would have been so sad and hurt too. And everyone's different, so I can't hold her to this standard, but I would have forgiven her, and this would not have been such a big blown up deal, because I understand people make mistakes, and I also understood the level of connection me and her had in the game at this moment, which was not much.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? And the boat scene was way sooner than they edited it in as well. And also in this last episode, you can see my hair. It has different grow out lengths, because they're literally clipping certain things that were said. And it's really annoying. But like, I mean, I signed up for it, you guys. Like, it is a reality show. Editing is out of my control. That's why I'm excited to have this podcast where I can take the narrative into my own hands. And if people want to, you know, ask questions in the comments, I'm so open for that. There's going to be a lot of hate, I'm sure. But instead of wasting your time hating, that probably is going to get you blocked or deleted. Just ask like questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer and have conversations with you guys, because you guys deserve to know what really happened. You know what I mean? I think that's something that deserves to be told, is the truth. And also, like, I don't condone anyone getting hate. Me and Mariah are not that close, but even Mariah's getting so much hate for picking James. That's not fair. Michelle's getting so much hate. Everyone's getting hate, but that's the thing. Everyone gets hate unless you're the underdog hero, and that's just what's happening right now. And that's fine. But I think with power does come responsibility, and I don't think anyone should condone anyone getting hate or feed into it. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, totally.
So, why are you such a backstabbing ass bitch?
Don't know.
Let's see. Do you have any questions for me that maybe like you could touch on, or like that can give more of an explanation of who I am, even as a character at this point. Because
after
I feel like
seeing production, like, and obviously, like, you did what you did. We know this.
Yeah.
But after production, like, editing you so great last season, because I'm sure that you did stuff that wasn't great last season.
Of course.
That
Everyone does,
that they
guys.
didn't
Everyone
put in.
does.
Right, but they didn't put it in, and they gave you such a great edit. And then to completely make you look so bad, because there's no way that you
and not show any of my friendships at all with anyone
not show
else.
anything good this season. It's like, do you want to go on another season with this network?
I don't know. I mean,
and
I'm sure people would be happy right now if I didn't, but I'm going to do what's best for me at the end of the day.
They won't, because then they won't be entertained. That's literally why they're watching.
Yeah.
To be entertained.
I will say I have seen some comments from people that have been hurt, and they are like, we can't wait for you guys to watch the next episode. It's so entertaining. But then, they're like upset about stuff like that. Hurts too. Because I'm like, wait, so you're happy the entertainment is like me getting bullied?
Well, yeah, of course.
That like really is not cool either. Like, I have feelings too. That's a thing. And, just
so do you think you will want to go on another season?
I mean, I do think I'm in the best place ever to go on the show, even better than when I was on Ride or Dies. I feel like I'm more physically fit, more mentally strong. I actually, in this house, because I wanted to please everyone and be a people pleaser and make everyone happy, which you couldn't do, I never stood up for what I wanted, ever.
So do you think that if you go in, you'll just kind of like pull Horacio's kind of game and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna
$1,000,000%. Yes, 100%.
Honestly,
I think
he does slay with that.
He does slay with that. I think that for me to have respect for myself and to gain respect back from people, I think I have to just go in there with my head held high and be 100% myself. When I was put on a pedestal on Ride or Dies, I wasn't myself this season because I was holding back a lot, because I was like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Like, what if I get like this and that? And in turn, not being myself, I was taken so out of character by the edit as well.
Yeah.
And I think this season, or the next season, if I decide to go on, if I get invited, I am stronger than I've ever been. I have more friendships than I ever have on the show that are true friendships that have, like I said, messaged me and been like, hang in there. This too shall pass.
Right.
We know you.
Everyone that has been on the challenge for numerous seasons is like a polarizing personality, and like no one's agreeable all the time.
Yeah, we're on TV for a reason, you know.
So
can look up something
depending on like how long you want to do TV, and like if you want to make it a career, unfortunately, you are gonna have good seasons and bad seasons. I feel like
and that's the way it is a game, and it does put you to it pushes you to the point sometimes of insanity. And this was definitely
also, most people commenting this bullshit could not even do like any of this shit. I'm just like, come on.
User 82555 or like all these girls that have like 2 pictures on their Instagram and like 70 followers and follow 5 million people. I'm like, okay guys, like if you're gonna come at me, have some like backbone and like have a life or something. Make me like actually care what you say. And obviously, I mean, I do care to a point when it's affecting like my family. Like people are starting to give you hate, and that's what's making me really pissed. Because like my Instagram, I can delete it tomorrow, and none of this exists to me in my real life. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of it.
And I've always said
no one's paying my bills other than me. I don't make money off Instagram other than maybe a brand post here and there.
The one that's blowing up right now, God forbid.
Oh my god.
Pretty tea. Wait, what is it? Pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty, yeah. Honestly, like
pretty tasty, which is pretty freaking tasty.
It's actually pretty tasty.
It's actually really good.
I did have a question. Some of my friends actually texted me some things because they know what it was, and by the way, I do want to say everyone's like, I hope you guys are good now. I hope you guys are good. I'm good with all of them. There's definitely still emotions there, and I think more needs to be discussed. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to work together on the show. Mm-hmm. That's their choice at this point, I think, to make, not mine. But I think. Like, I just hung out with Kyland in LA.
Yeah.
Horacio called me right after the show, and he's like, I always will, like, love you, and, like, it's, like, a game, and, like, it's fine. Obviously, in the moment, in the house, when you're still doing interviews, you're going to be way emotional. We remove ourselves, and yes, you're still emotional, but it's not as serious. And that's why when we watch stuff back, flashbacks, it makes you feel those feelings. And then me and Reese talked and hung out for, like, I guess everyone, yeah. Me and Reese hung out, you know, on the reunion for, like, a night. Not too long, but we kind of talked about a little bit, and she was understanding. And so I'm letting her feel what she needs to feel right now, but I hope we can come to a point where she will have my back a little bit as well with what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Just not
But she's also entitled to her feeling how she feels.
Never feel good to have animosity with people or feel like
no,
you
absolutely
did
not. It
wrong.
hurts my feelings to know that she's hurt.
Yeah.
For thinking I was never her friend, because that's not the case. You know?
Yeah, that is really sad and shitty.
Yeah, it is.
What do you feel like sad, is...
I miss her as a friend, you know? And like yes, she's hurt by what I did, but I don't think anyone's ever gonna feel what I feel, which is I can't change what I did. I'm stuck living like this. And she's right. Like, she can look in the mirror and be happy with what happened. I look in the mirror and I'm not.
How do you feel like it's different with the public, like Love Island airing it like in real time versus the challenge when it's this happened 8 months ago?
Yeah.
So it's like, it just
Love
sucks.
Island is so much better because you're on the show, so people talk bad about you, don't care, can't watch it, can't see it. My family is running my Instagram, they can delete it.
Yeah.
This has a lot of built up stress, built up, a lot of built up things.
And then also, I feel like you think you know what was said when you like talk to your whatever problems you ran into with somebody, and then it gets aired with whatever edit they give it, and then they're like re-triggered and they're like, wait, that's not what was really said. You're like, no, it is. Right. Like, what I told you is true. It's edited.
And I also have to I want to ask like 2 more questions before we just wrap this up. This is a lot to take in, and I don't even know if I answered everything, so I'm open to doing a Q&A on my story as well. I just wanted to be able to talk uninterrupted and just be able to, like, no one's gonna have my back. I gotta have my own. Yeah. So let me explain myself. I deserve at least that. I still think, like I said, I'm wrong. I think that the public does deserve, though, to hear the parts of the episode that were not aired. I'm very curious to see how the next episode is gonna go. I hope that it gives me some redemption as far as showing my thought process. But we'll just never know, I guess, until we watch it next week. But yeah, like, do you have any other things you want to add in there, like, as a bystander watching this?
I feel like as like a viewer, I find it alarming that people like spend so much time out of their day like hating when I just turn the TV off and then I go about my daily life. So that's odd to me. But seeing you behind the scenes, I'm so freaking grateful that season's about to be over, because I really cannot.
I think it's hard seeing people also come at me and say, like, I'm like a backstabber and a bad friend and I'm not a good person, because, like, it's
also seeing the highs and lows of you throughout the day, like, of you being like, fuck that, I don't believe any of that, and then you're like, well, is it true? And I'm like, no, of course not. And it's just like, you don't deserve that emotional warfare constantly. Nobody deserves to like feel like that.
Yeah.
And also to
and
just,
also, no one makes mistakes on a public platform that can have this many comments about it.
That's why I'm grateful we're doing this podcast now, because now you can still like lean into your creative entertainment side that you do like doing, and that's fun.
I like
for
to
you.
have fun. The show this season, I don't look like I've had any fun. I look like stone-faced the entire time,
crying in the club,
and I'm just like, I have friends for a reason, because we have fun together.
Yeah,
and I'm not this like. It's so crazy. I'm just gonna answer maybe like 3 questions and then we'll wrap it up. Was that move worth it? Was that move worth it, Sunshine? No, wasn't.
Sunshine was sweet.
Oh my gosh, F all the boys. Yeah. There is absolutely no way you can justify what you did.
Okay.
Next. I mean, I think I can justify I can't. I'm not trying to justify what I did and make it sound okay, but also I can explain my side of what actually happened. It's all bad timing too, you know what I mean? Like, everything just came to a head so quickly when it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Horacio was so close to winning too. You were my favorite, but what a joke. Honestly.
We're not laughing.
No, it's not great. And then, wow, I just watched episode 17. What you did to Horacio, Kylan, and Reese was so sad. I agree. But like I said, I think when a lot of these, I wanted to say this. A lot of the questions and the comments I'm getting are like, how dare you do that to Horacio, da-da. I want to like emphasize on the guys knew they were going in. And I didn't even put them into a thought, because like I said, I was trying to save me and Reese at all costs. And at that point, I was the only one politicking. None of them cared to politic really. So who was really fighting for me? Because I was going to go in, you know? It happened in a bad way. And I hope that, you know, everyone can move forward from this. I'm excited to move forward from it. I'm going to move forward from it. I'm going to
I feel like it feels like a lot right now,
It feels like a lot. But at the same time, I didn't murder someone's family.
Life goes on.
I didn't cheat on someone. I didn't
correlation
steal
to the red wedding
boyfriend.
Is crazy. Someone saying that you were like
what
the red wedding. I was like, whoa, that's the best episode in Game of Thrones. First of all,
I mean, you can't say you're not entertained, I guess, but
I was like, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but like the challenge is people's entire lives. Like some people obsess over the show, you know, and in my world, it's only 10% of my world.
I never heard of it until you went on it.
I know.
So I think that's also something too to think about, because since you're in it and you're so in it, like it feels like everyone hates you, but like in reality, like no, not really.
I just don't want any of my friends. They're like, my friends are in the comments battling for me so hard.
Bless them.
And I love them so much. And like they know me. That's why they're so offended, because they're just like, dude, Livia's not like this. And I think even Nerys, I don't want to speak for her, but I'm gonna think what she would say. I still think she would be like, you're not a bad person. I know you meant no malice towards me.
You're not a bad person.
And so I think she would even say that. I do, like I said, would love to have her on the podcast so everyone can get her side of everything fully. And I would love to talk to her, obviously, in person as well, just to make sure everything's settled with us. But anyways, just a little bit of a heavier episode, you guys. I mean, I hope I shared enough, and I hope I made things as understanding as I could.
Do you feel a little lighter now?
I do. I feel, yes, because there's nowhere I can go from here but forward. And I just want to say to everyone that is giving any hate comments or judging or anything, like the moment that you can look into the mirror and say you never made a mistake is the moment you can point at me and judge me. So that's all I can say. Like I said, I didn't kill anyone over here. Definitely a move I regret, and like I said, taking full accountability of it, but I would like to share my side because I think that's only fair. Because no one deserves as much hate as I'm getting right now. And yeah, I mean, people complain, I guess, over people being snooze fests on the show. People complain about someone being a hero on the show. People complain about someone being a villain. People are always going to talk, and that's what I realized, and I think I feel stronger from that. Everything happens for a reason. I have grown so much from this, honestly, because I'm going to move with more intention in everything I do. I'm going to stand in my beliefs and my truths a lot more and be bold in them. And if I have something that's not going to please someone, if I feel it in my gut and I feel like it's right for me, I'm going to stand in it. And what I thought with that move, what I thought was me finally choosing myself, because no one ever chose me, was actually like more of a tail between the legs. And I'm like, wow, watching it back has taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. So all I can do is move forward from here. And yeah, I just want to say that this too shall pass. So if you guys are going through anything at home that's really hard, or you feel like, you know, you're never going to recover from anything, just remember that, you know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is out of jail, and she has a comeback of a lifetime.
Literally one foot in front of the other.
I have to make jokes of it because it's just like so heavy. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment in the comments below. And then I can do a Q&A on my story that is a little bit more, maybe, you know, intricate. I can go live on my story, maybe talk, but save the hate, because honestly, it's a waste of time, and it's
and if you're gonna leave
and also
a
comment, like you're making my post do better, I guess. So thank you.
And enter the giveaway if you're already there.
Yeah, enter the giveaway. Do you have anything to say to wrap up?
I'm proud of you.
Aww.
And you are a really good sister and my best friend, and you shouldn't question that you're not a good person, because you are.
Oh, thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
All right, that's enough.
All right, guys. I am excited for you guys to, you know, watch this episode. Leave comments below, and we will see you guys next week on Gimme That Mic. Thanks, guys. Love ya.